Hi, I'm Katie. Welcome to Yoga Awakening and welcome to your practice. So today I have for you Yin Yoga for clarity and connection. So this will be a really nice sequence to practice midday or early afternoon, really anytime you're looking to reconnect quickly with the body. We'll have some nice gentle release for the feet, for the shoulders and the chest, a little bit of opening there. So this will be great for you whether you've spent the earlier part of your day standing on your feet or sitting at a desk. Welcome back also to Yin Rejuvenation. So this is week 2 of the Yin Rejuvenation program. And I've designed this program to be a month long. It's entirely free. There are 5 videos in total for you, all about Yin Yoga. We'll explore all the different facets. So as far as props go, you can always refer back to the first video in the Yin Rejuvenation series. I just go over the basics, all the basic props that are nice to have for Yin Yoga. Don't worry about it, though, if you haven't seen that video, all you'll need today really is a strap or a strap substitute, old t-shirt, belt, scarf, and then a couple of blocks. The blocks could be books or cushions. So set those off where they're handy. Pause the video to grab any of those things that you need. We'll get started in butterfly pose. So you might know this one as Baddha Konasana or bound angle. In Yin, we often call it butterfly. So soles of the feet together, knees wide. Certainly use those blocks underneath the knees to give yourself a little more support. For me, it feels pretty good without the blocks. And then bring your hands down to your feet, and we'll just spend the first few moments doing a little self-massage for the feet. So you might start here with the feet roughly together, using the thumbs to massage the sole of the foot. Don't worry here too much about getting fancy with your massage techniques. Just finding a little pressure that feels nice. And as you do that, start to draw the attention to the breath. And again, there's no need to find your deepest breath just yet. But instead, just think of this as an opportunity to start to tune in with the body, with yourself, how you're feeling, as you take this intentional pause in your day. It might feel nice to lift up one of the feet so you can use the hands a little more, maybe bring the toes in and out. Don't forget about the tops of the feet, the sides. And you can switch to the other foot. So keep checking in with the breath, just noticing the quality of the inhale, the quality of the exhale. Maybe you start to use your exhale to relax and release the shoulders, allowing yourself to start to shake off the day so far. Know that you can come back to attending to whatever needs attending to after the practice. So set it aside for now as best you can. Great, and then bring the feet back together, back to your butterfly. We'll pause here just for another minute or so. And I think I'll find sort of the middle path here and tilt forwards, hinging at the hips just about halfway. Feel free to round the spine or bring the hands in front. Feel free to sit up nice and tall. Maybe hands wrapping around the ankles. See if you can soften through all of the muscles of the hips. And soften the face. Continue to take note. How do I feel? And start to appreciate this great power that you have to refocus the attention, this power of awareness. So even if right now the mind feels like it's taking you off into every different tangent or plan, notice that you still continue to have that power to refocus, to recenter. Let's take one more inhale in together. One more exhale. And open the eyes if they're closed. Make your way up if you are in your forward fold. We'll come around to sit hips to heels with the toes curled under. So broken toe pose, always a very vivid image there, sometimes called toe stand. So for a lot of people this pose can be really intense, so maybe it's not hard for you to imagine why it's called broken toe pose. And if that's you, know that you could be here. So lifting the hips up, more in this kneeling position. You could bring a block in between the feet and then sit the hips back onto the block. And we'll just be here for 1 minute. So once you've found your way into your version, maybe just bringing the pinky toes along for the ride underneath you as best you can. And settle in. Maybe relaxing the shoulders a little more as you find this nice long spine from the hips all the way up through the crown of the head. Closing the eyes or softening the gaze. Bring the hands out in front of you, tilt forward so you can come onto the tops of the feet, release. Pause and notice. So maybe you can feel some nice new circulation through the feet, a sense of energy there. Maybe even a feeling of that sensation of the shape continuing as you come out. And then open the eyes if they're closed, and you can stay in this kneeling hips to heels pose if that's comfortable, or you could opt for a sukhasana, any sort of seat, and you'll grab your strap. We'll be here in our seat of choice for our next pose, Gomukhasana arms. So it's called cow face arms. So grab your strap or your strap substitute and just drape it over one shoulder. It doesn't matter too much which shoulder. And then it will start on the right. So right elbow lifts up, right hand comes towards the upper or the mid back. I'll turn around so you can watch me just for a moment if you are new to this shape. And then left hand will come around to grab onto the strap. So both hands grabbing the strap now. And you'll notice you have sort of the opposite rotation here. So this hand will have the palm facing out, left hand, and then right hand will have the palm facing towards your back. And then from there, grab your strap, take a moment to notice what it feels like to bring the hands closer together, so to walk the hands along the strap, or to walk the hands further away from each other. So where do you lose the sensation? And then equally, where is there too much sensation? Maybe it becomes hard to be still or relaxed. Find that perfect middle ground. Again, just a short hold. As you draw the elbow up towards the ceiling. And then use the strap to anchor you. Maybe you feel some opening and length through the armpit of the right shoulder and arm. There might be a tendency here sometimes to pull yourself deeper into the shape by arching the back, sticking the belly out. See if you can just counterbalance that gently by finding a more neutral pelvis. Breathing in, breathing out. Go ahead and release your left hand first, and then release the right hand. Noticing again, maybe that sense of circulation, blood flow, energy. We'll take that over to our second side. So you can even keep the strap on the same, draped over the same shoulder. This time we'll just lift the left elbow up towards the ceiling, right palm towards the upper back, and then grab for the strap. Add the right hand, now coming around, palm faces out to start, and then grab for the strap. Take a moment to find that middle path. Hands closer together, further apart. Your two sides might be really different here. I know that this pose especially, I can tell the difference between the two sides of the body. So just let that be as it is. Feel the hips get heavy. Keep reconnecting with the breath. And then go ahead and slowly release your right hand first, followed by your left hand. Notice maybe a new sense of balance across the two sides. And go ahead and set your strap off to the side. And we'll find our way into our next shape. Make your way onto all fours. Tabletop. Take a moment just to gently tap the feet. It might feel nice after a couple of sitting shapes. Make a little noise as you tap a little faster, bringing a hint of yang into the yin. And then come back to your tabletop. We'll bring the right hand to the back of the head and just gently open towards the right. You don't need to go very far. As you exhale, start to release the hand, send it through so that you can thread the needle. Release down onto the right shoulder. Your left hand now becoming the support underneath you. If you do feel supported and steady here, you could experiment with bringing the left hand to the sacrum, the left hand around towards the right thigh. Feel the surrender that this shape requires. Do your best to be still. Release the left hand back to the floor if you had your bind, and start to press in to lift yourself up back to tabletop. Over to the second side, left hand towards the back of the head, open it up towards the left. And then use that big breath out to thread the needle. Don't worry about what the shape looks like here. But instead, ask yourself how it feels. Ask yourself to be in the body, in the experience of the pose. Bring the right hand back to the mat, if it's not there already. Start to press into the right hand. Find your way to your tabletop. And then let's soften on in to a child's pose. And I invite you to take this child's pose with the knees together, or at least maybe a little closer in than you might have them otherwise. Certainly, you could bring a block down for the forehead. Let the arms relax down along the sides of the legs. Let the shoulders round forwards and feel yourself coming into this little cocoon. Maybe noticing if it's a little easier now to embrace this stillness than perhaps it was at the beginning of practice when we got started. Use the next couple of exhales to soften into the shape even a little bit more. Maybe letting go of something from the day. And start to make your way out. Bring the hands in front of you. We'll make our way over onto the right side of the body. And our next shape is cat pulling its tail. We have some great names of poses today. For this one, it might be nice to have a block for the head or a cushion or pillow. And I'll give you lots of different options here because I find a lot of different nice variations of this shape that can feel good. So we'll start here with the forearm parallel to the short edge of the mat. And then I'll simply extend my top leg anywhere out in front of me, so over towards the right side of your room. It doesn't need to be too much more specific than that, so don't worry if the leg is a little bit lower, a little bit higher. Maybe this is where you stay in this shape. You might already feel a nice little stretch along the left side of the left leg, maybe up through the side of the hip. Other options would be to start to extend the leg, the bottom leg, the right leg. Maybe it feels nice to lower down a little further. Maybe releasing the whole right arm now onto the mat. Palm could be face up. Then you could rest the right side of the head on that block. And finally, you could experiment with shifting the torso a little bit, starting to bring the left hand somewhere behind you. Maybe starting to shift the chest towards the ceiling, opening out the arms. So experiment with any or all of these variations, and then just find a place to stop and be still. Getting clear with yourself about, where do I feel the sensation in the body? Where does it feel good for me to pause? That might very well be different, week to week, day to day. I'll give you one final option here to try out, and that would be to start to bend at the knee of that lower bottom leg. So right leg bends, and then it may or may not be available for you to grab the right foot with the left hand. So these are all just things to explore. And it can even be worth exploring, maybe if you can grab that foot, should you grab that foot? Maybe today is a day where it feels nice to back off a little or be in a variation you haven't taken in a while. Release the right foot if you had it, and we'll make our way out of the shape exactly how we came in. So see if you can walk yourself back in reverse through those different stages. And then it will come around to our left side. And you might opt to walk yourself once again through each of our stages now that you know your options, or maybe you come right away into the variation that worked for you on the first side. Letting the exploration be new on the second side. Feel how the breath comes and goes. And I'll give you that final option here if you'd like to explore bending the left knee or grabbing the left foot. Release the foot if you had it. Once again, start to unwind your shape, coming back through just in the same way you came in. Make your way up to a seat just so you can set up for your final shape, and I'll leave you in this shape. So if you have your 2 blocks, you'll grab those blocks, and I like to have the block closer to me on its middle height, and then the longer edge parallel with the short edge of the yoga mat. And then the block for my head, the one further away from me as I'm sitting here, on its highest height. Remember though that of course I could bring this block, the block for the head, on its middle height, and the block for the mid-back on its lowest height. And then if you have different props like cushions or books, just bring them into a rough configuration that's like this. Something a little higher for the head, a little lower for the mid-back. Making sure that they're sturdy enough to support you. We'll be coming to lie down on these blocks, and it's okay if you need to get up again and adjust yourself, especially if maybe this is a new shape for you. So we'll come into our supported fish. So find that first block roughly underneath the mid-back, underneath the shoulder blades, and then I always like to use my 2 hands on the upper block for the head just so I can really perfectly adjust it underneath. So it's right where I need it to feel most supported. So for me, that's kind of right underneath the base of the skull. Take another moment or 2 to adjust. If these options all feel a little bit too intense for you, too much of an opener through the chest, or you don't quite have the right props, no, you could always grab a towel or blanket, roll it up to sort of a little sausage shape, maybe just a couple inches thick, and bring that right underneath the mid-back. And that will give you a really nice, subtle opening for the chest as well. Soften or close the eyes one final time. Feel free after a couple of minutes here together to continue on the shape for another minute or so, or maybe slide the props out from under you to spend a couple of minutes in Shavasana before you return to the rest of your day. Start to feel this opening that we're creating through the space of the heart. Maybe you even connect to a feeling of open-heartedness, even vulnerability. Noticing how that feels in the body. I invite you to take these two experiences or feelings into the rest of your day. First, this feeling of simple connection, maybe connection to the heart. And then two, joined with this sense of clarity. We've had a lot of different options today in our shapes. And I've asked you to choose which is the right variation for me in this moment. How do I choose without any judgment of what is right or wrong? But how do I instead truly attend to my experience as it is? I invite you to take that connection you've cultivated into your day. Let's draw the hands to heart center. You might say with me, the light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.